Hi everyone, welcome to Friday's vlog. I'll try and hold the camera steady for you. So I hope you're all well, I hope you're all okay, and wherever you are in the world, I hope you're not going to be affected by coronavirus too much, but sadly I think we all will be. So I've been saying for a couple of weeks that it's going to be a pandemic, and it is a pandemic. I reckon it's going to affect between 70 and 80% of the world population, and a lot of countries are going to shut down. It's going to get bad. In fact, it's a new virus, nobody's got immunity to it, it's very contagious, it's going to spread, and it's probably already in my area. The nature of my job, I'm going to get it. It's going to happen. Apparently you only have to be within a metre of somebody in the same room, breathing the same air. They don't know that they're contagious before you get a fever, so they're checking people for fevers. It's too late by then, they've already been contagious for 4 days. So the current NHS guidelines were to exclude people if they'd been to certain countries, so Italy, obviously China, Wuhan province, all those sorts of things. Well, on that list now, I reckon for the last week it should have been the UK. So reading something this morning and watching a video from an epidemiologist this morning, the known cases, and I've been saying this, the known cases are less than the actual cases. I know this isn't bike related, but we'll get to that in a minute. So known cases are less than the hang on, let's do that again. So the actual cases are more than the known cases. And this guy was predicting from death rates and using models and all the rest. And up to 4 times it is more cases than deaths, than known cases. So, and it's 4 days. So it's everywhere. There's cases in Cumbria, where I am. There's cases in Carlisle, which is 50 minutes up the road. It's here. It's going to come. It's going to come into the practice where I work. It's going to come into my surgery, and I'm right in front of patients. Right there. It's going to go through the practice. It'll affect everybody. It will. So stay safe, please, people. My tips: wash your hands. Don't touch your face until you've washed your hands. If you cough into your sleeve, we're all going to be self-isolating. It's going to happen. Unfortunately, cycling outside doesn't class as self-isolation. So indoor cycling, Zwift is going to be busy. But of course, if you're self-isolating, you're going to be ill. So you've probably got about 4 days before symptoms hit from starting to be ill. Now, I've just got over one virus, haven't I? I've just been ill before, so my immune system's been lowered anyway. Getting back up to training this week, because I've been ill, I've dropped over Christmas. I had January off, so my FTP will have dropped, my fitness will have dropped. Then I was ill, so it'll have dropped again. And I've come back in trying to do my efforts at the same sort of level, and I've been struggling this week. So last night I was meant to be doing reducing sweet spot efforts, so 10 minutes, 6-minute rest. 10 minutes, 8-minute rest, 10 minutes, 6-minute rest, 10 minutes, 4 minutes rest, 2 minutes, 2 minutes rest. And I was okay until I got to 4 minutes, and right from the start I knew I was struggling at the end, so the end of that 10 minutes, the last 2 minutes I was starting to bite on number 1, so I knew it was going to be hard. Now that could be just because I've lost fitness because of being ill before. It could be that I'm incubating something. Don't know. There's been people at work that have been sneezing, coughing, sore throat, respiratory virus. It's a respiratory virus, we know that. Anyway, enough of that. Stay safe, wash your hands, don't touch your face. Only touch your face when you've washed your hands. Wash your hands for a minimum of 20 seconds. Soap and water is absolutely fine. I know that everybody's run out of hand sanitizing gel and everything. Just use soap. Bar of soap. if I put you down there, you're not level. Hang on, let me get you level. Right, so here. So run your hands under the tap, get the soap, wash your hands together like that. Do the backs of your hands, both hands. Do your wrists. Doesn't matter which order, although technically you're meant to, but it doesn't matter which order. Do your thumbs and that thumb. Then do your fingertips and your thumb in the palm of that hand, and then wash it off, rinse it off, dry it with a paper towel preferably, throw it away. My tips. Best stuff is alcohol gel. You can make your own. I'll put a link below in a video to make your own from vodka and glycerol. Anyway, face masks don't make any difference. Gloves, normal gloves that you buy, unless they're surgical gloves, they're not good enough. They've got holes in. And that's why in between patients, when you take your gloves off, we have to wash our hands or sanitise our hands, disinfect our hands, because the gloves have got holes in. The best barrier you've got against protection is your skin. Provided you've not got cuts or anything like that, the best barrier against protection is your skin. So, the routes where it will get into you. Breathing, mouth, nose, eyes. The virus is in your saliva and in your mucus. So it's a respiratory virus. So throat, nasal passages, sinuses, all your airways. So when people cough, the droplets come out. And I was reading something that said if you're 2 meters away, the droplets will fall onto the floor. The virus can survive, they reckon, for up to 9 days on hard surfaces, stainless steel, things like that. So if you're touching door handles as well and things, don't touch your face until you've washed or sanitised your hands. But ultimately, because nobody in the world has got immunity to it beforehand, they have now, people are developing it, there's no virus, you're going to catch it probably. The likelihood is you're going to catch it. Most of us will be okay. The majority of people will be okay. It's only those with underlying health issues, unfortunately, sadly. So smokers have an increased risk, obviously. People with COPD, respiratory problems, reduced immune systems, diabetics, people with cancer, sadly, I'm afraid. People with heart issues, me. People that have had pneumonia before, me. So you just got to protect yourself and do the best you can. So coming back to cycling. Cycling outdoors, people think that is self-isolating if you're riding on your own. But what about if you're riding down the road and you pass somebody who's also thinking, I'm going to self-isolate, but I'll just walk the dog, and then you cough or sneeze, and then they walk past into that cloud. You've then infected somebody else. That person you don't know could be immunocompromised. They could have asthma, they could have COPD. You could then potentially risk killing that person. Do you want to do that? Or do you want to just self-isolate at home and stick at home and train on a turbo for a few weeks? I'm meant to on Sunday be going to a reliability ride, the Cold Dark North ride. It's 100k. It's going ahead because people are meant to be riding individually anyway. But you know what? I don't think I'm going to risk it. I'm just going to ride locally here. You want to reduce travel as much as possible. So, on to today's topic. So, if you remember last week, I should stand up, it'd be easier, wouldn't it? So, last week, I was showing my back wheel wobbling. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my back wheel out, we're going to swap it over, I'm going to put in my spare wheels. And then we're going to take this back wheel apart and have a look. It'll be the bearings, and I'm going to investigate the bearing sizes. We'll take the bearings out and we'll see what sizes they are. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the wheels and I'll show you what I'm going to put in. So these are my old PowerTap wheels that I've had, that I did try to sell 18 months ago, 2 years ago, and I've sold them to a bloke in Italy on eBay. but I was only sending them in the UK. I'd put eBay UK buyers only, and he was in Italy. So anyway, we're going to put these in. These hopefully as well won't get the same amount of water in because they're probably tubeless ready, I think, these. So we're going to put these in, and then I'm going to take that other PowerTap wheel out of the back and we'll have a look at that. So first thing I need to do is take the wheel out. I'll just shove this wheel in for now, and then it's take the cassette off, take the tyres off and the tubes off and swap them across. So I'll come back to you when I've done that. So the bike is just down there. So I'm going to put some gloves on and we'll get that done. Right, so I've now washed the wheels, I've taken the cassette off, and I'm just going to let them dry before I take the tyres off, just because they were muddy. So even though I had, what had I done? I'd like given the bike a quick wash, I'd not washed the spokes and stuff, so before I take the tyres off, I've just given them a good wash. There's the cassette, and as you can see it's a bit mucky, so I'll probably clean that as well before I put that back on. And coffee time. Cheers! Right, so we've washed the wheels, let them dry, swapped the tyres, put the cassette on, swapped the battery over on the actual transmission thing. So I've got all the new wheels, all the replacement wheels, my spare wheels in the bike. And you will see now that if I wobble that, no movement, or very little, that's just the spokes flexing. That's how it should be. This brake block on this side was okay, but the one on the other side, I've just had to tweak it a touch so it's not going to rub on the tyre. The front wheel is a lower profile here than the CXP33, so hopefully that'll be less affected by crosswinds. And that's all now, because it's a different parameter, that's plugged into my car, because I've not used that wheel for a while. I couldn't remember what the number was for it, the anti-D number. So that's all ready to go, but I'll show you what I've done. So here we have the wheel. So if I get this bit and this bit and this bit. So obviously cassette's off that other side. This side here, there's a little plastic end cap. That's the transmitting electronic gubbins. This one on this wheel is Bluetooth and ANT+. The wheels I've just put in are ANT+ only. There's a little coin cell battery in there, that's a CR2032. So that little electronic blob there lines up with that in the wheel. So I won't do it fully, but that's on there with the end cap, like that, all locked down. There's a tool then that you have to use to unscrew the little end cap. You can get the end cap off, and then you have to use this pointy end to lever this off the wheel, like so, leaving the axle. Now, if this will focus, I'm going to have to put you down and do this because I don't think it'll quite show. But I'll show you the movement we've got on here, and then what we're going to have to do, obviously this end bearing here is shot. The other side, the bearings will need replacing as well, and on the free hub. So there's 2 bearings in the hub, one either side, 2 bearings in the free hub. I have read that later wheels have got different size bearings than the earlier G3 hubs. So the other one is an earlier one, this is a later one. So what I'm going to have to do is, rather than just ordering and replacing bearings straight off, I'm going to have to take this apart, take the bearings out and see what they are before ordering them. Pardon me. So that's what we're going to do. And that's my turbo wheel, my front wheel. This one is shot, so this was Neil's wheel actually. This came off his giant K-Dex, and that front I've locked it up because that's shot. Of course, doesn't need to go round, but it needs a wash, so I'm going to give it a wash, and then I can put that back on the turbo bike on Zwift. Now let's see if we can demonstrate this movement. So you'll see there's quite a bit of movement in that end. Of course, that's this bearing, and that'll be amplified up at the other side of the wheel. If I turn it over, this side probably isn't so bad, but there is movement there too. So we'll get you sat on the bench and we'll take this apart and we'll have a look. And of course, coffee time again. Freshly made so it's hot. Cheers. Right, so wash that front wheel. So that's just drying. We're gonna take this apart. I was gonna do it on my little bench that I've used before, but I'm actually gonna do it on the floor, I think. So I'm gonna bring you down here onto the floor with me. And if I just there we go, so I'll move you like that so you can sort of see me. Right, because all we need to do is, we don't need to do it fully. So the end caps apparently pull off, so that's one end cap pulled off. And then the other side, I'll pull the end cap off. You'll see me pull the end cap off. It should pull off because I pulled it off before. There we are. So that's drive side, non-drive side. Free hub will pull off there, which we'll clean up and have a look at that in a minute. But I don't know whether you can see there's a bit of water in there. If I turn it round, you might see the bit of water. So I did re-grease that. There's a little grub Allen screw there that I'll have to unscrew, and that will allow me then to pull out or drift out the bearings. We've got a spacer in here, and then you need to drift out the bearings to look using the axle and spacers. Now I've not got the facilities to do that up here at the minute because they're in Birmingham, so what I'll do is do what I can, see if I can see some numbers, and then I can order the parts to do it. So I'm just going to give it a clean up and we'll see. So if I show you that. Okay, so I'll keep running, but I'll edit later. That's as rough as anything. And there's a seal in there, little rubber seal that I need a pick to get that out. I'll get one in a sec. Little bent spoke, useful. Pull out the seal, little seal. Now I've got with me my bearing extractor kit that I bought. That kit, I might be able to use that to pull this out with. Coffee drunk, quickly checked the video. Apparently you've got to press out the drive side bearing first, this side. The guy on the video taps it out with a soft ferrous mallet over a spacer on his workbench that way. I don't want to tap it out, I want to press it out using my kit. Need a bigger spacer, haven't got a bigger spacer here. This kit, the spacers that I've got aren't long enough. I have them on my workbench in Birmingham, so that's something that I'll do in the future. I'm okay for now though, because I've swapped my spare wheel. So drive side and the free hub body apparently are all 61902 bearings. They are ABEC 5 spec enduro bearings, LLBs, and you can get them from Which Bearings in the UK. The non-drive side is a 61802. And I've verified that, I've cleaned it up, and I can check and I can see in there that is a 61802, and that is actually the one that has got the most movement on it, which isn't surprising because it's a smaller bearing. So you can't press this side out first because there's a magnet taped to the axle apparently. So what we're going to do before I do order them, and then when I go down to Birmingham at Easter, I can use my tools on the bench and do it. We're just going to pick out the rubber seal on the end of there. It don't want to move. There we go. Got it. Right, so that's the seal out. And now I can just clean that up in there and check that they are the correct bearings. Obviously I'll be able to do these with my kit because the axle's not in the way. Now these should all be 61902s. The inner and outer bearing on these are the same. Yep, 61902, Enduro, ABEC 5s. That's fine. And then we'll take all this, we'll reassemble it, we'll take it all back down to Birmingham as a whole, strip it down, clean it all, and do it on the workbench in Birmingham because it's easier than up here. But while I'm at it, while I've got it apart, I'll just replace all the bearings, clean everything up, reassemble it, and then we'll be good to go again for next winter. Or sell it, one way or the other. Probably keep it, because they're not worth that much these days, these things. I mean, if I got 50 quid for it, I'd be surprised. The bearings, replacement bearings, are going to be 40. So you could question, is it worth it? Yeah, it's worth it. Because it's a good spare power meter for when everything else breaks to train with. Okay, I'm going to struggle if I get rid of winter bike with rim brakes. But, do you know what? I'd probably keep it. I probably won't sell it. It's not worth it. So we're just cleaning it up a bit. I mean, I'm going to end up washing it all anyway. And, you know, cleaning it properly. Petrol. Degreaser. I'm waffling today, aren't I? So I could press these out of here now, but it's not worth it because I'm not ready to put the new bearings in anyway. And it'll help if I just keep everything together. So that's that seal cleaned up. Enduro ABEC 5 61902 LLB. They are rough, but to be fair, they've had a lot of use. So I will see you out on the bike tomorrow. So thanks for watching. See you in the next vlog. Stay safe.